What's up, YouTube? I am back with a different kind of video today. In a couple minutes, I'm about to leave and go to the Apple store because I cracked the camera on my phone. So the crack is not over the actual lenses. It's like right here. It's really minute. So I have the 10s Max. I had to turn off Find My iPhone because they asked you to do that before you bring it in. I guess in case they replace the phone. It shouldn't bother me that much. Like, it's not, right now it's not causing an issue with the camera at all that I know of. It's just, I'm probably going to trade this phone in later this year if the new iPhone is compelling enough to upgrade. So right now I'm on Apple's financing plan where you finance it directly through them and you have Apple Care along with that. So I'm just curious as to see how Apple is going to treat the situation. I've never had to use Apple Care before because generally I've been pretty good with my phones, and this is 110% my fault. I dropped it too many times, even though when this happened it wasn't during a drop, it was a little bit after. I had it in my pocket. The bottom of the camera was already nicked a little bit, so I guess maybe my keys pressed against it too hard and it was already a little bit compromised, so it cracked. So this is totally not Apple's fault. The only time I haven't ever had to deal with like a warranty situation was with my iPhone 6 Plus. The screen would just randomly become unresponsive, and they were pretty good at taking care of it. The first time they replaced the screen, that didn't fix the issue. The second time I went back, they gave me a new phone at no charge. I'm not expecting to get away scot-free on this one, you know, because obviously this is a result of a drop. I'm just curious as to see what happens and how Apple treats me. I did look up the pricing with Apple Care Plus on how much the repair is. So screen shatter is $29 and any other accidental damage is $99. So I'm expecting to have to pay $99. The reason I'm making this video is because I'm curious about it, because I looked it up online. I looked at some forum posts and some people were like, well, I went to Apple and they tried to charge me $650 and blah blah blah, and that seems weird. But I don't know what to expect. So I'm learning as you guys are learning. So we're gonna go through this together. I'm gonna go ahead and get over to Apple. The Apple store is only like 5 minutes from my house, so I'm not in a rush per se. But I'm gonna go ahead and get over there, and I'm gonna tell you how this gets taken care of. Bye. All right, and I am back from the Apple store with my repaired iPhone 10s Max. Well, it's not repaired. So basically, if there's damage to the back of the phone, from what they told me, they pretty much just replaced the phone. So I got a new phone. It was $99, like it said online, because it's considered accidental damage. So with Apple Care, you get 2 accidental damages where they'll replace the phone pretty much for $99, or if it's a screen related thing, then they'll just replace the screen for $29. But yeah, so what they implied at least was that if it's an issue with the back of the phone, then they just replace the whole thing. As far as the experience, I say it's what I expected. I did have some frustrations. So after I got my replacement phone, as you can see, I'm still not done setting the phone up yet, because when I was in the store, they were like, okay, well, I'm gonna connect my phone to the store Wi-Fi, which is slow as hell. And they were like, oh yeah, just hang around until it finishes restoring and then you're good to go. And it was estimating to take an hour. And I was like, hell no, I'm not waiting around here for an hour. I actually did wait for like 20 minutes because I was like, you know, the estimation thing is wrong a lot of the times. So I just ended up leaving the store with no phone, and my Apple Watch obviously can't connect to anything because it's not connected to my phone anymore, at least at the moment. It sucked, and my alarm was armed, and I have an app that I use to disarm it, so I had to trigger the alarm when I got home to get in the house. So overall, that was annoying. The weird thing was, it wasn't like I was mad at Apple because it's pretty much what I expected, but I was more so mad about this phone because I did drop it a lot, but the reason that I dropped it so much is because it's so huge, and I really feel like I had to make a choice between, do I want the bigger screen or do I want the phone that's more convenient to hold? And that in between size, the 10R was like marketed as like the cheaper phone, and the camera wasn't as good, and I really wanted the best camera. So I was like, it felt like I either had to choose between a phone that was way too small or a phone that was way too big. I did have the 10S at first. I had it for a week, and then when Jeff got his phone, it was like, well, I can keep this phone, which I didn't like the size of because it was too small, or I can go with the Max because it was more so what I was used to coming from the 7 Plus. And I did make the choice to go over to the Max because I really missed the size of the screen. Because even though the 10S is bigger than the Plus phone screen-wise, it's not as wide, and I miss the width of the screen. So now looking into that transition, I guess what I felt like the rep in the store kind of implied, she was like, are you sure you want to use one of your accidental protection things for this? Like, because it was something minor, like the back camera's cracked. But I was like, I do, because this phone was like $1,200, and I didn't want to wait till it got worse. I mean, not that it would have cost any more money, but like, I don't want to be without a camera or have glass break off in my pocket or something like that. So I was like, I'm definitely going to go ahead and get it fixed. And I think this phone is completely frozen right now, so I'm going to do a hard reboot. But the thing is, like, I don't think I'm happy with Apple's hardware right now, as far as the sizes, because it's like, why couldn't they just give us a slightly smaller, like the 10R size, but still keep the same OLED and camera, and just have 3 of the same models? I feel like they could have just kept the 10, not upgraded it, and priced that as a lower price phone, and then the 10R could have just been the regular 10S at 6.1 inches, and then they could have had the Max at 6.5 inches. So that way, if you wanted a smaller phone, like, yeah, technically you still be using the 10, but there's not really that much of a difference between the 10 and the 10S, to be honest about it. They both look exactly the same. Performance-wise are almost exactly the same. The 10S camera is a little bit better, but that's it. So, like, in my opinion, that's what they should have done. They could have priced the 10 down. Like, the 10 is like $800 now, in most cases, or less. So, because they're just trying to get rid of them, because Apple's discontinued it. So they didn't have to make an LCD phone. They could have priced the 10 down and kept that as a low budget option, in my opinion. But that's kind of the end of my gripe. I just think that, like, I'm not happy with, for the high-end phones, I'm not happy with either size right now. And if I have the choice next time, I'm probably just going to go down to the smaller phones, just so I don't drop it as much. But, it is a choice that I made. So I'm not blaming Apple or anybody. I'm just saying, like, this phone is kind of unwieldy half the time, and it's so big that it doesn't fit easily in a lot of my pockets. Blah. Anyway, that's going to conclude my rant for the day. So overall, the takeaways were, they do replace it if you have Apple Care. It is $100 if it's something that's related to the back of the phone or any other accidental damage other than the screen. The screen's $29, and they pretty much just swap the phone out. So that's the takeaway from it. Experience wasn't bad. It was alright. Let me know what you think in the comments. Remember, if you enjoyed this video, tell a friend, tell a coworker, like, share, and subscribe. And remember to always do at least 2 things at the same time. Peace.